Guys, I have a confession to make. I might quite possibly be a little bit of a nerd. I started programming in 8th grade, and now I'm writing on my PhD in software engineering. But whenever I start to write code, I start to feel really, really stupid. And I like to think that the explanation is not that I am stupid. Instead, I argue there's a structural reason to this. So there's what I call the constant state of confusion. Imagine yourself coding. Typically, you are debugging because it takes the most amount of time. And let us just simplify your emotional state to a Boolean. You are either confused or you are not confused. When you are confused, you have to work until you finally understand the system enough to fix the bug. At some point, and this can take hours, sometimes days, sometimes years of your life, you get some understanding and are able to fix that bug. You then switch to the not as confused state and enjoy life for a bit. But for how long? You cannot stare at a fixed bug forever. There are still hundreds, if not thousands, of bugs in your code. The unfortunate point of that cycle is that you are always running after a problem. And once you got there, you just take on the next one. What makes this even more frustrating is that you are always wrong in coding. This is because the computer is always right. You think your code makes sense. You think you did it right. And even if you write plausible code that would work in another dimension or under different circumstances, or if the API just behaved that little bit differently, when the
computer says no,
you are objectively wrong. No matter how good your code is, when something does not work, it is your fault alone. And this can be hard when you make a mistake that takes hours or days to fix. Imagine you are a cook. You have this really nice recipe for your signature fried potatoes. It's great. People love it. But one day, suddenly, the meal is completely unacceptable. You did everything the same, but somehow it just does not work. You think about what changed since the last time, but there's nothing you think that matters. You only switched out the oven, but you don't even use the oven for fried potatoes. So you're sure this is irrelevant. But you try for hours, and in your desperation, you plug the old oven back, and it works. So you find out that the new oven somehow changed the memory arrangement of your kitchen, and the problem must be somewhere in your recipe, but you still don't know where. And your guests are already waiting several hours for the potatoes. So you just decide to plug in the old oven for now and keep that until it breaks again. Okay, this metaphor did not work out. So what can we do about it? I'm honestly not that sure. I think it helps to be aware of that dynamic and be aware that most people feel stupid when programming. No matter how good you are, you will always make a lot of mistakes. And no matter how good you are, you will still spend a majority of your time fixing your own mistakes afterwards. Being confused and feeling like you don't know anything is not an indication of your coding level. Another thing that can help is pair programming. Problems generally are fewer and found faster, which already helps to keep you out of the frustration zone. And even if terrible bugs take a long time, you at least suffer together. So, if you have a general interest in people being confused about code, you should really watch our devlog. We make a bouncy roguelike with mighty spells. It starts to get some rhythm and some pinball mechanics. It's chaos and you don't want to miss it. If you want to talk to us for some reason, join our Discord or follow us on Twitter. If not, that's fine. I will just keep talking to myself.